What's up guys, Benny here and welcome to 12 tips to get better at Call of Duty Warzone. These videos are packed full of tips and tricks to help you win more games, and I'm going to do them a little bit more often as I'm constantly learning new things whilst playing the game. So if you are new to the channel, please take a second to hit that subscribe button, as 75% of you watching are not subscribed to the channel, and you'll get better at Warzone, I promise. Now, one of the biggest tips that I'm about to give you is one that I've only just started adding to my own game consciously. And to be perfectly honest, I can't believe I haven't been doing it more, because it will help you win so many gunfights and pick up so many more kills at those medium to long ranges. And it's quite simple. All you have to do is crouch. Now, you obviously don't want to be crouching all the time, especially if you're the focus of the enemy team's gunfire. But crouching when you're opening up a gunfight or are taking out an opponent that's focusing on your teammates, you're going to end up landing a lot more of your shots, especially with higher recoil weapons like the CR56 Amex, for example, which is becoming quite popular at the moment. But as I said, just remember, your mobility is a lot lower when crouched, so you're a much easier target to hit, but try to add intentional crouching into your gameplay for big improvements. My next tip is one that I've stressed in the past, but I still see players not doing it enough. Every top player in all their high kill gameplays are doing this, and it's to spend that money. If you've got cash and you're just carrying it around, it's doing nothing for you, or possibly more importantly, your teammates. When you can, prioritize getting UAVs, especially before that first loadout drop in the game, because until then, most players, especially good ones, won't have got their ghost classes yet, as they'll almost always grab their overkill loadout first, so they get their two weapons like the R9 shotgun or the Kilo. Also, keep an eye on your teammates. If you've seen one go to the gulag mid-game, odds are they're going to need their perks back. Buy them a loadout if you've got the money to do so. Remember, this is all going to end up helping you in the end by increasing your chance of getting that win. But talking about spending cash, something I cannot stress enough is you've got to be quick when you're at those buy stations. Buy what you need and get the hell out. They're hotspots on the map, and don't be one of those players that will only add 2,500 to the loadout. It's just going to cost you time. Drop all your cash at once and trust your teammate to get what the team needs, whether that's UAVs, ammo boxes, or that all-important loadout drop. And if you're the person who's given the money, try not to be selfish, especially if it's in the first circle and you've not used your gulag. Really, a self-res should be the last thing that you should be bought. UAVs early game are going to be far more useful. So just get into the habit of doing what you need to do at the buy station as fast as humanly possible, and you're just going to be less likely to get killed without being able to do anything about it. And the same goes for when you're grabbing your loadout. Know what you're choosing before you get to it and do it as quickly as possible. My next tip to help you get better at Warzone is quite possibly the most important. There's a reason every pro player cranks up their sound in Warzone, so they know exactly where enemies are coming from or what they're doing, from important sound cues such as footsteps to rezzing to the breaking of glass or the opening of a door. So to be able to hear all of that stuff as clearly as possible, it's important to use a headset. It's going to help you be able to clearly know exactly where your opponents are. Now, you'll probably already know this, but I've been partnered with Turtle Beach for a while now, and I've used their headsets for even longer. So if you don't have a headset, make sure to go check out the link down in the description. I personally use the Turtle Beach Atlas headset, which isn't too expensive, and they've also got the brand new Stealth 700 Gen 2s, which are a great wireless headset. But sound is so important in Warzone. If you want to be doing consistently well, you need to be paying attention to those sound cues. It's going to make you a better player, so make sure you use a headset. Now, my next tip for Call of Duty Warzone has helped me win a lot of games that I would have otherwise lost, and that's to take the long route in the gas. During the final few zones, when you've got less and less options available to you in terms of where you can move safely, sometimes your best bet is to actually run into the gas and use your entire gas mask to completely reposition. Surprisingly, most players don't actually do this because, well, it's against your natural instinct because the gas is dangerous and can kill you pretty quickly, especially in the final couple of zones. But if, for example, you're pinned down by an enemy squad in the final zone, they're going to know exactly where you are and are just going to be able to pre-aim your position knowing you've got to run at them. The only thing you can do to catch them off guard is to run into the gas and go as far as you can before your gas mask breaks. Remember, you get around 15 seconds with the standard gas mask and up to 30 with a durable gas mask. That's more than enough time to dip into the gas and get a completely different angle on your opponents, or long enough for them to not be super confident on exactly where you are. And that brings me on to my next tip to help you get better at Warzone: positioning. I've been giving this a lot of thought recently whilst trying to improve my own gameplay, and I always come back to how can I improve my position more consistently within gunfights. This isn't just about your positioning before a gunfight happens, but also during a gunfight. Let's start with the before. Ideally, you always want to get an enemy team unexpectedly, either from shooting them from the side or from an advantageous position, such as having the high ground, which is pretty common sense. So just try to not start the gunfight until you've got an advantage. The hard part is how to gain an advantage from a bad position when you're in a gunfight. Now, a lot of this comes down to map knowledge and knowing where you should go or what you can use to gain an advantage. Like, I'll do this all the time. Someone starts shooting at me, I'll instantly dip out and then reposition to something like a rock, which I can hold my ground from. This will increase the chances that I can take an opponent down, as they're likely going to run towards me, and you've got to try and take advantage of that sprint to fire time. That's your best chance to take them down and taking the least amount of damage at the same time. Also, when you're in a gunfight, once you've got a down from a specific location, unless it's a strong power position, move somewhere else so the enemy doesn't know exactly where you are. Don't keep peeking from the same part of the hill or the same corner of a wall. It's just going to get you killed. Take those extra few seconds to disengage and reposition. You'll find yourself getting downed in the middle of a gunfight a lot less. Just focus and work on improving your positioning during and out of gunfights. It'll just make you a better player. My next tip I like to call the power of the pause. This is quite a simple concept. A lot of players are always trying to force something to happen when playing Warzone, whether that's constantly being aggressive and having to be the person making the play. Sometimes it's better to just pause for a few moments and let players around you evolve the play for you to take advantage of it. For example, if you know multiple squads are around you, maybe take a strong position and just wait for a moment, and you'll be shocked at how easy some of the kills that you get are, because whether it's someone running right into the open trying to push another squad, or just running blindly into a room that you're holding with an R9 shotgun or an SMG. You don't always need to be the aggressor in every situation. Keep that in mind. My next tip is something that I really want to see people doing more, and it's working with your teammates more. Simple things like pinging enemy locations or pushing an enemy team with them is just going to increase your chances of coming out on top. Also, try and be the best teammate that you can be. If you get down, you can still contribute to the success of your team. The amount of times that I've got knocked down and I'm able to get an important ping on an enemy that allows my team to apply pressure and win that gunfight is ridiculous. Also, if you're playing with random teammates, try and stick with them. It's hard, as sometimes everyone wants to just go and do their own thing and everyone else should follow what they want to do, but that's just not going to work for anyone, and they'll end up getting downed and just leave the game straight away. Be the best teammate that you can be and work with everyone else, and you're going to win a lot more games. Trust me. But that also brings me onto what I really think separates good players from great players, and it all goes down to your comms. If you spend the time to learn proper clear callouts that you and your squad are going to be able to understand, you'll be blown away how much it improves your game. If you listen to competitive players play Call of Duty, it's ridiculous at how much it helps if you're put in that situation, because you gain another level of situational awareness. Though it does require a lot of effort, but doing simple things by letting your team know where you're pushing or what you've got covered is really going to help you out. Then my final tip for this video to help you get better at Warzone is you need to try and speed everything that you're doing up. Now, I don't just mean run blindly around like a madman, but when you're looting, don't stand around looking at the loot. It should be a quick drive-by, grabbing the key bits that you need, plates, ammo, weapons, streaks, and so on. And by speeding everything up, that leads to you being more decisive in your plays. And I always say this, but hesitation and doubt in Call of Duty usually ends up with you being taken out, and you're never able to string together enough momentum to get those high kill wins that everyone's after. So try with your squad and with your own game to do things a little bit quicker when you're moving around the map. Don't spend longer than you need to in a specific location. For example, you might be better trying to get a bit of high ground to get some information on where some enemy players might be than spending an extra 20 seconds looking around a building for loot. But those are 12 tips to help make you better at Call of Duty this month. I hope they do help you out. And if you've got any tips yourself, please do go ahead and share them down in the comments. I'm always looking to learn and improve myself. And I will see you next time for another video.